Hey guys, Gravener here. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Contest of Champions. And today we're going to be hitting up a video on Masteries. Now this was a suggested video for one of my 4,000 sub videos. So I'm going to hit this one up today. Going to try and hit up a couple of the other ideas that kind of got thrown out there. But I'm just going to start off by saying if you have seen my Masteries 101 videos, I will link those in the description down below. I still think that those hold true, even though I did that just basically to put it out there for people who were wanting to start out building their masteries and just, easy to build, not very cost oriented builds, just for beginners. But I still think that holds up. I haven't changed anything in my masteries since those videos, other than the fact that I do have an extra point in glass cannon. Now, for me, I'm not a really big fan of a lot of these newer masteries. I like the old ones. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. The beginner ones obviously are not the best in the world. Strength and then greater strength, you don't want to put a lot of points into. Courage definitely is a great mastery to me. Pierce is another good one because it goes through armor. Lesser precision and lesser cruelty. I know a lot of people say don't get these maxed out, use your points other places, but to me a 2.5 increase in critical rate is huge, and a 10% critical damage is huge to me. 10% extra damage right there is absolutely huge to me. I love it. I love having these masteries. I think they do really well for me. Precision maxed out, cruelty maxed out are huge. And I do like glass cannon. I was very resistant to glass cannon in the past, but increasing the attack of all champions by 7.2%, but reducing their maximum health by 7.2% at maxed out level is not the worst case in the world. Now, whenever you start getting into stuff like this right here, recoil, just to be able to get liquid courage and double edge is really kind of dumb to me. Especially if you're in an alliance who does alliance wars pretty heavily, trying to get 4-star and 5-star shards. Why would you want to even have 1 point in recoil? Recoil is my absolute best friend whenever I'm in alliance wars in attack phase, going up against other champions. I hate to have to fight champions who don't have recoil. So it's been a really great benefit to me that so many other YouTubers and so many other people out there have plugged liquid courage and double edge so much that people end up putting 1 point at least in recoil. And I hate it. I hate recoil. Increases special attack damage for all champions by 10%, but they sacrifice 5% health for each activation. I can basically sit back and bait people out of their special attacks, and they're going to do tons of damage to themselves for me. That is the greatest thing in the world. So, I will not have it, because I think that makes going up against my champions in Alliance Wars on defense 100 times harder to fight, because you're not getting free hit points on my characters. But if you want to keep them on, that's fine, because that's just going to make fighting me fighting you a lot easier for me. Now, moving on over into the defensive portion, I still think that willpower is a great ability to have, even still maxed out, because it does benefit your healing champions so much more. Wolverine's going to get so much more out of his healing factor. Deadpool's going to get so much more out of his healing factor. Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch are going to get so much more out of their healing factors. That's just my personal opinion. I do still like having a little bit in Stand Your Ground. I would like to have a little bit more in there, because 25% isn't exactly, or not 25%, but 20% at 2 is not exactly the best in the world. And we could get up to 50% chance that we're going to get a block, resist a block break. But I don't currently have any more points to put anywhere else. Definitely salve is not one that is huge to me, so I don't have anything in there except for one. But to increase recovery by 15% for recovery is huge. And like I said, I do still think that willpower maxed out does help out a ton, because we're going to regenerate 0.7% health per second additional and gain 4 points of armor until the effect expires. So I do still enjoy willpower. I don't think it's as good as it used to be, but I do still enjoy having it on there. I think it's a beneficial tool as far as playing this game goes. Now, moving on over into the utility portion, this still holds true. I mean, it's really, just go back and watch the old videos if you haven't yet. Like I said, I'll link them in the description. I do feel like most of these do still hold up true to this day. Limber is a great ability to have. Rigorous mental and physical training reduces the duration of enemy stun effects by 24%. Huge. If you can have 5 points in that, it's awesome. 3 is really good though. Dexterity, 10% critical rate for your next attack if you dodge back. Pretty good ability. Parry, absolutely imperative. Timing a block right when attacked reduces damage by 33% if contact is made. Stun attackers for up to 2 seconds. And that gets buffed by the fact that we do have Stupefy. When your champion inflicts stun, it lasts for 0.5 seconds additional. So we're actually getting a 2.5 second stun off of parry. So this is just not going to be the longest video in the world, but going to be a pretty short one. This is just how I feel about Masteries. I do not think that you need all of these fancy new Masteries that keep coming out. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not sold on any of these new ones. Despair. Debuffs applied to enemies reduce their healing and regeneration effects by 5% up to 15%. Deep Wounds. Bleed your champions. Inflict last 0.5 seconds longer if they have more health points than their target. Their bleed instantly strikes down an additional 0.2% max health for enemies, and it goes up to 2.5 seconds longer and down an additional 1 point max health from enemies. Not huge on it, you know. Unfazed. When an enemy evades, your champions have a 17% chance to stack 10% critical damage for their next critical hit, and that goes for up to 55% and 30%. So that's kind of, to me, just a really kind of a counter opposite to dexterity. That is just your attack version of dexterity for me. And then finally, the last new one, Assassin. Against enemies below 18% health, your champions gain 20% attack and decrease enemies' defensive ability accuracy by 12%. If enemies start the fight below 18%, your champions also gain 30% offensive ability accuracy, and that goes up to 60% and 20%. To me, all of these new fancy abilities that get stuck into this game are really just more of a money grab. I know that a lot of people also go for the Mystic Dispersion. Your Mystic champions accrue 2% power each time an enemy beneficial effect expires, up to 12%. It's really handy for just the Mystic characters, and if you're not running a lot of Mystic characters, or you don't have a lot of Mystic characters, it's not really going to help out that much. I mean, does it help out? Sure, of course it does. But most of this stuff in here is just going to cost you tons and tons of money to be able to get it, because you can purchase the little Mystic items that you need to be able to buff that up, and it takes tons of them to be able to buff it up. Then you get into things like Despair. It takes 2 carbonadium cores just to be able to unlock. Cat came into the room, sorry. And then you're gonna make your way on through here, and it's gonna cost almost just as much to open up most of these new ones. Same goes for recoil. It's gonna cost you 1 carbonadium, and then it's gonna cost you the carbonadiums to unlock double edge and liquid courage. So I mean, it's just another way of being able to waste your units. I think that you could really water down your abilities to the best of your ability And this is absolutely a huge deal to me, is the build that I have. I love the build that I have. I think the build that I have works perfectly for just about everything that I do in the game. Anything else is really kind of a luxury, and it's going to take away points from other things that I do enjoy in the game. And it's also going to cost me tons and tons of units. I know a lot of people say, but once you've got it unlocked, you've got it unlocked, and it's awesome. But if you don't have the recovery stone, it's going to cost you tons and tons of units. The more points that you put into a certain area, it's going to cost you more units just to be able to recover those mastery points. So I leave it alone. I don't touch it. I don't get new abilities. I don't get new masteries. I don't mess with this stuff because I don't like wasting my units just to check and see if something is cool or not. I think it's a waste of units. I think it's a waste of time. I think this is a very good core build that works for just about everything in the game, and it maximizes the abilities that you have to be able to do just about anything. It maximizes your offense, it maximizes your defense, and it maximizes the utility purposes for all of your champions, whether that be within questing, Alliance Quest, Arena, AQ, or Alliance Wars. That's just my opinion. Hopefully this did help you guys out some. Hopefully nobody gets mad at me at the fact that I do not like to get the new masteries. But this is just my opinion. I've never been a huge fan of going in here and messing around in masteries all that much. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. If you are new to the channel, please consider leaving a sub on it. As always, guys, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. Later.